Hello. Hello, Turkey. Hello, Istanbul. Hello, Gastromasa. Thank you, Gökmen, for bringing me to Istanbul, to this beautiful city. We saw yesterday evening the vibe, what you have in the city, the young people, what you have in the city. And yes, today I want to talk a little bit further. I want to talk about what's behind the plate, not what's on the plate, all the work which is done before. And sustainability, big word, everybody talks about it. How many really live it? Very difficult, very complicated. For me, sustainability started here, in a very small village in the most modern northern valley of Italy, 1,000 meters over the sea level. And we had to really work in a sustainable way. They already, my parents, my grandparents, to survive. Because winter time was long, winter time is 4 or 5 months, you have nothing, so you really have to think what to do, and you really have to think how do things and how go on with the things. From there I started around the world. I was 15, 16 years all over the world, and then I came back to Rosalpina. Rosalpina, I started there in 1994 with the restaurant St. Hubertus. Before it was a pizzeria. And I brought everything in what I learned around the world. So I was working for a long time in New York. I did sushi in the end of the 90s. I did wasabi. I brought in fermentation. I brought in everything what I saw around the world. And I tried to really give it to the people and to show them what's going on. 2008 was a big year for us. We were the first restaurant in this area, and especially in the northern part of Italy, especially in the mountains, to get 2 Michelin stars, but with a completely different concept. We were famous for foie gras. We did every night 90% foie gras as appetizer. And we were famous for sea fish. So we were flying in every week 100 to 150 kilos sea fish from all over the world. So from Alaska, from Japan, from all over the world. Then I started to ask people, what do you expect when you come to the mountains? What do you expect when you come to in a village on 1,600 meters, because this is different, San Cassiano? What do you expect there? Everybody said, we come from the mountains. We want to breathe the air. We want to drink the fresh water. And we want to have the food. So I said, okay, I do everything wrong. And so I really started there to think about what we can do the next step. And I wrote Cook the Mountain in 2008. So we really started with a project which is really sustainable, which is really working with the people, really to live the nature around you. And it was a lot of work to do. So we had really to work with products from the area. We had to build up a whole new supply chain. And so I don't want to talk about us chefs. I don't want to talk about us in the restaurant. I want to talk about the people behind. Really the people who helped us to go there, who helped us really to work in that direction. So we had to build up a completely new supply chain. We had to work with hunters. Oh, Now we have to go back, sorry. This was a little bit too far. Can you go back, please? Just to show, yes. We had to work with, no, these are pictures now, they should go. Christoph. Now this is too far, there's slides to show all the farmers, all the producers. Can you please do this? Can you go back, please? Okay. Now there are pictures, they should move. Doesn't work? No. No, so we have to do it without. So we had to build up a completely new supply chain. We had to work, as I said, with the hunters from the area. We had to work with farmers. We had to work with people who do the plates for us. We had to work with all different new subjects, what we didn't do before. We were playing first. Everybody said, well, you're not producing anything. Well, I'm not producing anything because I'm not a farmer. I'm not a hunter, and I'm not a guy who does the plates. So that's why we had really to work with them and to focus on them. So we decided to be very critical and very tough on the decisions what we are taking. So we decided that we are not using any vegetables out of a greenhouse. We are not using olive oil. On 1,700 meters, you have no olive trees. We are not using any citrus, because on 1,700 meters over the sea level, you have no citrus. We are absolutely no waste concept, so we try to do the recipes not producing waste and then to try to recover the waste. We are trying we are working on recipes where we are not producing any waste. So this is very important. It's a big difference. And we really work with the people around us. So no greenhouses means that you have to divide everything in altitude and in latitude. Because altitude, in the place where we are, in May, June, nothing grows there. So you have no vegetables, you have no herbs, you have nothing. So that's why we had to go to a lower level that we can really start before with the vegetables and with all those things. We had to do it in latitude because if you have everything on one place, if you have everything close to the restaurant, if you catch a big hail there, you're running out of products. So that's why you really have to think in a completely different way. No olive oil. Olive oil in Italy, everybody said, are you crazy not using olive oil? We said, no, we don't want to do it. But then we had to find a solution. So today we are working with grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil, on the other side, helps us today that we are using the wild herbs, which are picked by people, and to use them in a different way, to use them really not just as frozen, as dried, or as fresh, but we do oils out of it. So you can do, because grapeseed oil has a very, very interesting thing, has no color and no taste. So that's why we really can produce verbena oil, we can use basil oil, we can use mountain thyme. So it's very delicate products, and so we can reuse them also. So also this, and we can maintain them for 3, 4, 5 months. So this is absolutely no problem. No citrus. Every dish has to build up like yin and yang. So with sweet, sour, crunchy, soft. And so that's why we had to find also solutions there. We started to work with fermentation. Fermentation and with wild berries, with wild herbs from the area. So we've had to find people who are collecting the berries for us, who are collecting the wild herbs for us. We have one lady, she picks up all the wild roots for us from 1,000 meters above. And you can find everything, so you can find every taste there which you want to do. We had to start to work with mycologists. In the area where we are, we have around 2,000 different types of mushrooms. Normally we use 4 or 5 different types. Today we are using around 50 types of mushrooms. So with every taste, with every really lots of experience and lots of very interesting things what you can do with this. We have one guy who does all the plates for us. He was working in a manufacturer there to do the majolike for the oven. Today he does all the plates for us. We go there, we show him, and we tell him really what we want to do, what kind of plate we need, what to do, and what is going on. We have young people with cheese. We have a cheese bunker which is close to us, which was built World War I, World War II, and it was never finished. So the cheese bunker there has summer and winter time. It's always on 10 degrees, but has a 99.9% of humidity. So you can produce cheese which is really mind-blowing, which is really, really fantastic. Then with all the people with Valentin. Valentin is one of our most important producer for vegetables. So today we are working something between 450 to 500 different types of wild herbs, wild mushrooms, wild vegetables. So it's really, really completely, it's a biodiversity which is very important, which is very, very useful for what we are doing, because we use around 20 different types of carrots. So we start with the carrot, with the spring carrots, then we have the summer carrots, we have the fall carrots, and then we have the carrots which we can maintain in the sand, in the cellar, in the same way as they used to do it in the old days. So with all the work what we were doing, with all the work really we had to learn in those years, we realized that we didn't invent anything new. Everything was already done. Everything was already done by our parents, grandparents, but it was done to survive. Because 4-5 months per year in that area, you have nothing. So this was very, very important. So during the pandemic, we have a butcher. He started to work when he was 15 years. He started to work with the farmers. His great dream was to be a veterinarian. He's a butcher today. He's 70 years old, and he tells you exactly, from this farmer, you don't have to buy any lamb because it's not good. We use meat, yes, but the respect from our side for the animal is that we are using everything. So we had to redo the whole menu. The whole menu is built up. Every main course, we're doing 2 courses. So we serve always one expensive part, and we use also the not expensive part. But when the expensive part is good, also the not expensive part is good. And so that's why we had to adjust all the technologies. We were one of the first restaurants to use a lot of sous vide cooking, but we are talking about 25 years ago. Around 10 years ago, we took off every sous vide cooking from the menu. So no sous vide cooking anymore. We are just doing everything, it's on open fire. We have different types of ovens, we have different types of grills, and we have really different way. And so, taking off everything from the menu what we had at that time, there was a lot of people that came up to us and said, listen, do yourself a favor and stop with this, because otherwise you are going to lose the second star. It was a great experience because I had always a young team, and for me, my chefs, they're always very, very important. So I did a meeting with my chefs, and I gave them a mail, what we got. Said, hey, listen, you read this mail here. Tomorrow morning we talk about and we decide what to do in the future. The next day at 9 o'clock in the morning, I came in the kitchen. There were 4 mails on the table, scratched, and said, we are not interested about this. We are going the way we cooked the mountain. That year, we achieved the 3 Michelin stars with a completely sustainable concept. And this is very important, because with this, we showed young people, we showed next generations that you can go 3 Michelin stars with a completely sustainable concept. You don't have to use products flying in, flying out. You don't have to use French products, because Michelin was very French, it's still very French. We are not using anything. But this was the most important message for me, what Michelin gave, that you can go 3 stars. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you are in Istanbul, if you respect traditions, if you respect the old culture, you can go 3 stars. If you are in Calabria, using the products from Calabria, you can go 3 stars. If you are in South America, using the products, you can go 3 stars. And this is the most important thing, what we can do, what we can give the next generation, because only in this way we maintain the cultures. Only in this way we really maintain old traditions. And this is very important. This is very important for the future, because otherwise, in the end of the day, we eat all the same thing if we go on like this. We fly in all the same products, and we are not using anything. I mean, Misha, I love Peru. Do you know how many different types of potatoes they have in Peru? It's over, yeah. Do you know how many different types of apple we have in the world? It's 1,200 different types of apples. Do you know how many commercialized are commercialized? It's around 24. On 60-70% of the production goes on 8 to 9 different types of apples. So all the rest is not good. Our grandparents, they were living with those things. They really ate those things, and they were good, because you had really apples or berries, but when you picked them up in fall, you couldn't eat them because they were just hard. They was not good. There was no taste. You kept them in the cellar for a couple of months, then they were really full of flavor, full of taste. And this is what we have to give the next generation. I think if we go on like this, what we are doing today, we have 40 harvests left. That's it. We have 8 billion people today. To feed 8 billion people on long term, you can do it with small farmers. Otherwise, it doesn't work. We have to find new technologies, small farmers, and really innovative new technology. Otherwise, we are running out of soil. This is how it is. I can say, okay, I don't give a shit. I'm 60 years old, I have 40 years, and then I'm done with this. No, I have 2 kids. I have one son is 4-year-old, and the other one is 12 years old. And I don't want to go up to the day that one of my sons come up to me and they say, hey, Daddy, you fucked it really up. I don't want to do this. So that's why we really try to work in a new way, to really try to work in a different way. And this is the reason why we do this, and we do this with a big team. There's a lot of people behind. There's a lot of things behind. So now we go to the next one. Yes, can you go back, please, to this? Okay, CARES. I did first an event which was called Chef's Cup. It was very successful. In 2015, I stopped. I said, I cannot do on one side sustainable cuisine, and on the other side, a lifestyle event with 1,200 people in the valley. So that's why we decided to do CARES, but it's all much further. It's not talking about dishes. It's not talking, I'm the best, I'm the most beautiful, I'm the best chef in the world. No, it's talking about the future. So we invite not just chefs, we invite chefs only when they have a concept, when they have a concept in food, when they have really something to say about food. We try really to think about what's going on, about energy, renewable energy, new ways of thinking, how to use products. I mean, we did the book, which is called Cook the Mountain, The Nature Around You. The whole book was done with recycled paper from the waste of the apple. The whole skin outside is an apple skin. So it's a leather which is completely vegetarian, and it's made out of the waste of the apple. So we try to go in that direction. We really go out of the box, to think out of the box. So that's why I said before, it's much, much more important to see what's behind the plate and how to adjust concepts in a new way, in a new direction. So just Massimo, he was one of the chefs there, but we had, I don't know how many chefs who are in here we had already at CARES, and it was always fun, it was always good, and it's also always very, very important. We had tough years with the pandemic. I'm a very positive person. I say always, every crisis is a chance. Every problem is a chance. You close doors, you have to open other doors. So that's why I really trust in the future. I really trust in young people, and I really think that we are on a good way. And This thing doesn't like me. I don't know what's going on here. Can you show me, please, the next picture? Thank you. Alpine. When we started to work really with Cook the Mountain, we had the problem that we have to do the orderings once per year. So we do the orderings in wintertime for the whole next year, because we have to tell the farmers what to produce. We have to tell the farmers what to grow for us. And so we really had to talk, and we have to give them guarantees. So we cannot say, hey, listen, you produce 500 kilo of this, 500 kilo of this, and then I don't take them. So that's why we had to do another restaurant. They offered me to do this beautiful place, Alpine, but I was not happy just to do a restaurant. So we took a designer, Martino Gamper. He's from our area, but he lives in London, and he became famous in London with a project which is called 100 Days, 100 Chairs with the Waste of London. So he was walking through London, and what people throw away, he found things, and he did 100 chairs in 100 days. Wallpaper named him the most sustainable designer in the world. We said to him, hey, listen, Martino, we want two things. We want to have a living room in the mountain, which is not easy when you sit in a glass house. And we want to have the philosophy of Cook the Mountain in the design. So today you stay on 2,200 meters over the sea level, and you say, vegetables is down there. Butcher is down there. The wood from the floor comes down from here. That handcraft is down here. The ceiling is all done in a fabric by a local producer, by Meusma, which is one of the oldest fabrics producer of Loden. And it's all like this. We had a big problem with the water. We said, okay, we did the calculation, and we have to bring everything with the trucks and everything with the ski lift. So there's no street in wintertime because it's closed. We had to bring up 36,000 bottles of water and to bring them down again. I said, why? Why should we do this? So there's no commercial mineral water. We are using a system which is called BWT. We use the water from the mountain. We mineralize it. We first filter it. We mineralize it. We sell it. But 50 cents per liter goes in a project where they are making water pumps. They are drilling for water in the poorest countries in the world. We had to build a completely waste system because up on top the mountain, there's nobody coming every day to pick up the waste. So we had really to work on everything, and it was a real challenge. And for me, it's a great project. It's not because it's my project, but it's really interesting. And next, we are working already on the next one, and we want to go on. So can you Cook the Lagoon? I wanted to show that you are not doing Cook the Mountain. It doesn't make any sense to bring Cook the Mountain around the world in the cities. So that's why we are working on a project in Venice, in the Amman in Venice, which is called Cook the Lagoon. Same system, same way of thinking, same concept as we do in the mountains, but there we do it in the lagoon. Just use the product from there, just use the fish from there, the vegetables from there. Okay, next. Horto Milano, where we do the consulting, is in the center of Milan. It's a beautiful place, but also there, Cook the Mountain doesn't make any sense. So that's why we decided really to work on a concept which is the ethical hour. So we just pick farmers who are not further than 1.5 hours away from Milano. So also there we try really to maintain the culture around Milano, the producers around Milano, and especially to give them also the time to deliver and to go home in time. And the same thing is also with the chefs. We really try to work the hours how it should be. I mean, today everybody complains about that we are not finding any staff. We saw this already before the pandemic, that the problem is going to be there. But nobody was taking care of this. But then with the pandemic, everything really accelerates and was much faster. Today we have a problem. But it's also, on one side, it's also good because we have to rethink also the life balance and everything what we are doing in the future. So can you give me the last slide, please? This is this one. This is a project which I really love because I was working for 3 years now to get a bachelor done of all the knowledge what we did in the last years. And so we started in September a university bachelor for 3 years with the university in Bolzano. So it's not done by us. It's all scientific based. It's all really the knowledge with the professors. My part or our part is really to bring chefs in like Misha, like Virgilio, and to let them speak and let them talk about what they really, about the problems what they face, about what we have to do for the future, and about really what's going on in the next generation. So this is where I'm really proud of. We started this September. First, we were thinking about taking 15 students. We have over 25 now, so it's really, I'm really, really happy about. But as I said, it's all based on the university in Bolzano. It's all based on Noi Park, which is the technological park in Bolzano, with all about research in fermentation, because fermentation still is a very great zone. We don't have really the right rules, what we can do, what we cannot do. And we have the Leinburg, which is the research center of our area. It's all about agriculture. And so it's everything what we did, what we built it up in the last years, we packed it in there. And so from now on, we really every year start a bachelor with 20, 25 students. And they get a 3 years training, 3 years bachelor studying. This is what we do. So that's why I wanted to talk what's beyond the plate, not what's always, we're always talking about chefs and we're always talking about us. It's let other things talk, let pharma talk. Sorry for the pictures, we can show them, but this is what we do, this is what Cook the Mountain is, this is what Scares is. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you.